Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video talking about the RAW workflow. I got the idea for a video about RAW from a commenter on my last video about the BMPCC 4K. He was talking about his excitement for the camera, how he definitely intends to get one, but something that he was concerned about was recording media being expensive. Basically, the BMPCC 4K, you have a couple options for recording media. You've got CFast 2.0, SD card, USB 3.1 Type-C connector. You can actually record to really fast external hard drives. But he was talking about wanting to be able to record in RAW 4K for like 2 to 5 hours at a time, which to me, it struck me as a little bit crazy, impossible, expensive. Crazy, impossible, expensive. I don't want. I mean, this video is not meant to like pick fights or insult anyone's intelligence. It really just it got me thinking about working in RAW with these cameras. In my videos talking about the original BMPCC and the Ursa Mini Pro, I always give credit to Blackmagic for unlocking RAW at a low price point, and basically like RAW gives you access to the full features of the camera. All the dynamic range that's possible, the maximum color depth. I've only ever really experimented with RAW basically as a learning tool to experiment in Davinci Resolve, trying to figure out, color grading. But in anything I've ever shot, I've shot a couple short films and, these talking head videos for YouTube. I've never shot anything with the intention of producing it or delivering it to somebody in RAW. And the reason for that is the space required and the workflow requirements. Anyway, his comment got me thinking about like trying to deliver a video that was shot in RAW. So I got the idea to do something called a RAW vlog. Usually if you're making a vlog, you kind of want it to be, it's a quick and dirty sort of way to do some content. Certainly you can color grade it, but a lot of people, they probably try to shoot in settings that they don't require a lot of color grading. Log footage, for instance, might be overkill for a lot of vlog situations. Log footage and raw footage combined is definitely overkill for a vlog. But, I just thought it would be funny because it's kind of a pun. So the content isn't necessarily the raw part of it. It's actually just the workflow that's the raw part of it. So a couple days ago, I shot a bunch of footage, talking head portions, explaining kind of the whole concept. And then I was doing like a video shoot that day, and I was kind of making a vlog about my preparations for the video shoot, blah, 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 blah. So I shot about 40 minutes, give or take, of content. And this is on the BMPCC, so 1080p. So 40 minutes of content. I transferred it to my hard drive, and it's about 150 gigabytes worth of footage. So extrapolate that for 4K. You can shoot compressed RAW, 4:1, 3:1, or uncompressed RAW, and the file sizes are just tremendous. So you've got to have the recording media, 3 to 5 hours worth of recording media to shoot RAW, and I think he mentioned 4:1. And then you have to take it from your recording media to your hard drive, and then if you're not working in Davinci Resolve exclusively, so if you're going to work in another editor like Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro, you've got to take that raw footage and transcode it into something that those NLEs can work with. So you're taking your raw files and then you're going to transcode it into something like ProRes, so you can actually edit the footage in Premiere Pro, for example. So that's another. So you're creating another batch of footage. It's going to be smaller for sure, so you can down-res it. So if you shot in 1080, you can down-res it to 720, or 4K, you can down-res to 1080 or 720 if you want to, and you're going to save some space there. But you're still creating additional footage that you're going to have to put on your hard drive somewhere. And for me, I had never really done that process before. So taking the footage from Davinci, creating the proxies, putting them in Premiere, and then from Premiere you've got to create another type of file that you're going to take back into Davinci and relink those proxies to or not really the proxies, but relink that edited footage to the original raw files. So then you can go back and do your color grade using the full raw files. So I wanted to do a video showing that whole workflow. So I spent a couple days here trying to figure it all out. It's taken, some trial and error watching some tutorials on YouTube, some Google searches. So this is not really a tutorial. I'm not an expert in this. I think I have, at least at its most basic, I think I have it worked out. So if you were to follow these steps, potentially you could create raw proxies in Davinci, take those proxies into Adobe Premiere Pro, edit them, and then export an XML file, which you could open up in Davinci and relink the edited footage back to the proxies to color grade. So come along with me as I try to make it work on camera. So I'm in Davinci Resolve, and ignore the background. So I've got a project open, but I'm about to create a new one. So create new project, demonstration workflows. Okay, so here we go. I'm in the edit tab right here, so you can drag clips directly into the media pool or go to the media pool and do it that way. Here we go. Okay, so now we can head on over to the Edit tab, and I'm just going to drag them all in to the timeline and create a sequence, not in any order, just whatever order they came in. And so here you can do some color grading if you wanted to. If you want to take these flat log images, and some editors, you might want to have something like a Rec 709 LUT. To me, it's not that important, so I'm not going to worry about that. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the Deliver tab. And now you can do this a couple different ways. You can do it custom. You can go to Final Cut Pro 7, or you can go to Premiere XML. I'm just going to do custom, so there's really not that many options. But if you do custom, you want to make sure that up here at the render tab, you've got two options, single clip and individual clip. You want to make sure that you're rendering individual clips. So you want all the individual clips to render out separately, and it'll create a proxy file for each of them. Another crucial thing that you want to make sure you check, you want to make sure that source name is checked. This will hopefully allow Davinci to link up the proxies with the raw files. So make sure you have the source name clicked there. Everything else here I think you can just kind of keep. And then go to video, the video tab. Here's you're going to pick your format and your codec. QuickTime is good because Premiere Pro likes QuickTime. You can make them as compressed or uncompressed, whatever. We'll do 8-bit. And then you can actually change the resolution. If you keep them at the source resolution, like if you're doing 4K footage, you're obviously going to have much bigger proxies. So if disk space is a concern, then you can down-res to 1080 or even 720. So you want to pick a location, and what you might want to do is maybe don't save the proxies to the same location, the same file folder as the raw files are stored. So I picked a different drive altogether to store the proxies onto. Also, you can create in the file submenu, you can name a file subfolder just to make it easier, so you know exactly where they go and what they're called. And then after all that, hit add to render queue, pops up over on the right side, and start render. And I'll come back when these are done and open this up in Premiere Pro. Okay, I've got my Premiere Pro project opened up, and I haven't done anything besides just name it. I named it Raw Workflow Demonstration. I'm in the Import tab, or the whatever you call this guy over here in the bottom left-hand corner. So I'm double-clicking here and select all my proxy files and click open. All the individual clips are here, so this isn't a Premiere Pro editing tutorial, so however you want to do your edits. A few things that I've heard people who have worked in Davinci a lot more extensively than I certainly have, some things that they have suggested. Basically, if you're familiar with Premiere Pro and you've done a lot of editing in it, you know that you can obviously you can stack things here. So you've got video track 1, audio track 1, and then you can stack more video tracks on top. So video track 2, audio track 2. You can add graphics, you can add adjustment layers, everything, and it all stacks up. What I know for sure is that not only, so if you start doing a lot of transitions and maybe motion graphics and things, and you export you create an XML and you open up in Davinci, a lot of that stuff might not be translated into Davinci Resolve. It might not recognize it. It might not be worth your time to add a whole bunch of transitions and graphics and text at this stage in the game, because if you want the final stage to be the color grade, you might not retain all of that information. So what you might want to do is just do your edit, do all your cuts. You can do your audio, but what you want to try to do is get everything kind of simplified down into maybe just one video and one audio track. So if you can do that, do that to the best of your ability, and that'll make the work back in Davinci Resolve go smoother. What you might have to do is do your color grade and then actually come back into Premiere and do all of those final touches, put your transitions in, put your graphics in, and your text. So Davinci might not be your last stop. Okay, so I didn't really do any editing. I just dragged a bunch of clips into the timeline, and here I'll drag even more. So, all right, so here, say this is my edit, and I'm gonna save it, and then I'm gonna come up here to File, come down to Export, and I'm gonna go to Final Cut Pro XML. And you save this, remember where you save it, close out of that. Right here, I have a brand new project, no clips in media pool, no clips in media pool. So we're gonna try it this way. So you can hit Control-Shift-I, it opens up your import dialog box, and you're gonna find your XMLs, or your XML I should say. This is the one I just saved right here. And open that up. So now it opens up this dialog box. And since we don't have any clips in our media pool, you want to make sure that this box is checked where it says automatically import source clips in a media pool. Make sure your timeline resolution is correct, and let's hit OK and see what happens. Okay, so that didn't work. I'm not sure why it didn't work, but so here, yeah, so what it did, and I don't know why, these are just the proxies. So for some reason it did not relink to the raw files. So I'm going to delete all these, and I'll try it a different way. So Control-Shift-I, oh actually hold on. I'm going to bring all the raw files into, these are all the raw files here, so I'm just going to highlight them, bring them into the media pool, go back to my edit tab, and I'm going to drag this in here real quick, and hit color. Okay, so that's the raw clip, because now you can come into your raw tab and you can actually make adjustments to it as a raw file. Okay, so now these are all in here. I'm going to try it again. Control-Shift-I, open up my XML, and uncheck automatically import source clips media into media, or source clips into media pool, and see what happens. Okay, there you go. So those are the raw files. Just to reiterate, when you are creating your proxies, so we'll go back to the Deliver tab, whether you do custom, Premiere XML, or Final Cut Pro, they should all work. But what you want to make sure is that whichever one you do, that source name under file name uses is checked. You also want to make sure that you've got individual clips checked. When you do your import of your XML, it's for whatever reason it works better if you already have all the raw files in your media pool, and then don't import source clips in a media pool. That's as far as I'm going to go in this demonstration. It just got me thinking about the whole process, but I want to specify like what I think about working with raw. I only think it's feasible if you're actually getting paid enough to make it worthwhile. So he's talking about investing several $1,000s in recording media and maybe upgrading his computer and hard drive space in order to get up and running in a way that he wants to. So if you're not going to be able to recoup all that investment, that's just money you're spending just for the hell of it, really. So you need to make sure that you're going to get paid enough. If you're charging clients for work, you have to charge them extra because you've invested all that money in equipment. You also have to charge for the time because you have all those extra steps of transcoding footage, editing, coming back into Davinci, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I had talked about RAW in a couple videos, and maybe I wasn't really coming to grips with it. So I'm trying to come to grips with it now. About the RAW vlog, I might show you some of the footage that I did, that I shot. It's not anything great, but I'm not going to be producing any vlogs in RAW. It's just I'm already running out of hard drive space just from this one video. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. And once again, like, you guys, all your comments are kind of like giving me the ideas about where I want to go to next. So yeah, keep getting me some, keep responding. It's a conversation. Like I said, I'm not the expert here. I want to learn from you, and hopefully that, I can also impart some of what I learned to you guys as well. So, keep hitting me up with good comments and whatnot. So thanks for watching.
Keyboard that you can play. Let's just shape buildings like guitars and put ugly siding on skyscrapers so they look like pianos, but they don't actually want a piano. An electric keyboard piano. We should plug it in. I'll make some music. Are you recording again? You don't have to go to work. Although I guess 100 years ago, Olaf would have been working, herding those sheep. Olaf! Olaf! Olaf, come here. Sit. Stop pacing. Stop. Stop pacing.